Big Ramy update. Is this him 12 weeks out of a 2024 Arnold Classic? Chris Bumstead, has he sponsored Ramon Dino? Plus Sam Sulek's insane first meet and greet. What's up, Desktopers? Xavier Wills here for Desktop Bodybuilding, and we are back with another bodybuilding news video. I'm going to kick it off with GoodVito Vitaly Ugolnigov. He is ready for umbilical hernia surgery. Obviously, that's a hernia of the belly button there, as you guys can see in this photo, which it was talked about at some guest posings leading up to his pro debut that he planned to do. Didn't do that one, has put it off to 2024, and he's obviously hoping to qualify for 2024 Mr. Olympia, as he states here as well, and he's hoping to prepare for the Brazilian Championships. Now, I believe this is the same Brazilian show that was last year. I believe it was somewhere around April prior to the New York Pro, so maybe he's trying to go for that contest. Whether it'll be around the same time, I do not know. But this is his latest physique update as well, and he's looking pretty damn good, and all his health markers checked out leading up to his surgery, which is great, and his surgery is scheduled for today, so best of luck to GoodVito, and I'm looking forward to seeing him in 2024. Now, there were some reports that Mike Sommerfeld was going to open next year, which actually did surprise me at first when I saw this reported online. Now, this was actually shared by Who Is The Best BB and says, disclaimer, after speaking with his trainer Neil Yoda Hill, it seems to be a misunderstanding and that there are no plans to change to the open category. Mike the Badass, as Mike Sommerfeld is called on IG, still has a few pounds of margin in classic physique, and you can see Neil Hill, the top comment there, his coach says, no, Mike the Badass is not going into open, full stop. So the fact that Mike Sommerfeld has a few pounds to move in Classic is very, very exciting for starters. He's already a top 10 Olympia guy. I believe last year he placed him a top 5. So if he can regain that form and then add a little bit more tissue to his physique, he can definitely push up and challenge that top 3 at some point. Now, this is some exciting news. The Dubai Pro, they're adding open men's bodybuilding. And why is this so exciting? Because last year we saw a ton of open pro shows where some of the quality and some of the lineups lacked a little bit. So why would I be so excited about the Dubai Pro being added? Well, it seems like we'll probably have a lot of prize money. And this is great for the competitors, and it's great for good lineups as well. And I think we're going to see a lot of guys that chose to sit out the 2023 season jump into 2024, like Quinton Araya, Martin Fitzwater, all these guys, James Hollingshead. There's a whole bunch of guys that set out 2023, and I think we're going to see all these guys plus all the guys we saw last year, at least most of the guys we saw on stage last year, on stage once again in 2024, because it seems like there's going to be a few shows like the Detroit Pro, the Dubai Pro. I heard rumors of a Phil Heath show, got Arnold Classic UK. There's a lot more of those shows outside the Olympia and the Arnold that are going to offer more prize money, and it's great. Now, I did see here the top comment by Huge Off, 100k prize money for the open winner is my guess. Someone said that AJ Kelly Roberts said it was about 40 to 50 grand prize money for the winner at the open, which is huge. It's probably almost 100 grand prize money all up for the open, which would be massive for bodybuilding. They offered a lot to Classic and 212 last year, and I'm so glad to see that they're adding open to that list as well, and I think it's going to be a great show. The lighting as well last year. Shout out to the Dubai Pro. They look like they did a great job. Black background. Surprise, surprise. Makes the competitors look awesome. And apparently in person, the lighting was next level as well. I heard this from Brandon Curry. All these other guys went to actually go watch that show. So very, very exciting news. And on to a man who's actually back at a gym, which they actually, I think, do have one, or they're building one in Dubai right now. And that's Oxygen Gym. You can see here, Nathan Asha looking massive. His trainer there, Chemo, is showing him how to pose a little bit bigger, and it definitely works for Nathan as well. He just looks crazy in these updates. And sometimes I think Nathan actually does close himself off a little bit of that most muscular, because he's so packed full of muscle. If he makes his structure appear a little bit bigger, he's going to look more imposing on stage as well, and he looks like he's adding that necessary muscle to go to the next level and really clean up more shows and add to his 11 pro victories. So great to see him back out there in Oxygen Gym training with his trainer, and looks like they're putting this off-season to good use, even though it may be a short one, because Nathan Asha did say on Bodybuilding University that he plans to compete in the Arnold Classic Columbus, and I believe Arnold Classic UK as well. So very, very exciting. Nathan Diash here, if he is able to compete in the Arnold Classic Ohio, he's a little under 12 weeks out right now. So very, very exciting. Now, on to Chris Bumstead. Is he sponsoring Ramon Dino? So I saw this posted the other day by Chris Bumstead. These two guys hanging out. He's over there in the Raw and Revive area, which is obviously the company that Chris Bumstead, I believe, has a part of. So obviously, if Raw and Revive sponsored Ramon Dino, and also saw this with Rafael Brandao as well, then he'd be sponsoring his biggest competition. We know Ramon Dino the past 2 years has been second at that Classic Physique Olympia, and he is closing the gap, although I still believe Chris Bumstead is a decent way ahead. Now, this was posted up saying Dino 10 showing a discount on the Raw Revive website for Cbum's protein as well, and Dino 10, it looked like it worked. So I thought any good reporter, whatever you want to call me, YouTuber, should actually check to see if this is still working or to see if it was some sort of an error. Dino 10 works on the Raw and Revive website, so I did a little bit more investigating and looked on Ramon Dino's IG page, and it still has at Max Titan Supplementos. So that's his current supplement sponsor. So perhaps that contract is coming to an end and he's gone over to Raw and Revive, spoken to those guys, and they've set up a deal and they've put up the code early, potentially. I'm not too sure. I'm not sure what's going on down there, or whether anything with the 10 on the end on the Raw and Revive website works. I haven't actually checked that out, but it appears Dino 10, if you want 10% off Raw and Revive, appears to work. So my guess is that he's going Raw and Revive, which would be huge because Cbum literally sponsoring and putting money in the pocket of his biggest rival in the Classic Physique. And that might even suggest that Cbum is coming to the end of his career, at least this year, next year, or who knows when that might be. Now, moving on to the Classic Physique controversy, cheating controversy, whatever you want to call it. Stefan Matala here on the left, who placed third at the Austria Pro this past weekend. There's no real controversy in that because he looked fantastic and deserved a top 3. Where the controversy came was at the height and weigh-in, because obviously Classic Physique, your height and weight restricted. Your weight restricted based on how tall you are. So the taller you are, the more weight you get. And as you can see here, he's being stretched out by actually one of his competitors, Michael de Bull, who actually went on to win this show, which is obviously a great gesture from him and very, very kind to help out a fellow competitor. I love to see it. But you can see here when he's actually hiding in, when you zoom in on his foot, the heel is off. And the other foot's on the side, and I assume that heel could be off as well. And you can see he's obviously trying to be as tall as humanely possible. And no one's looking at the feet. Obviously, you got Tamer El Gindi there and then someone else hiding him in. No one's looking down at the feet. And I'd say he's getting at least an extra inch from that. If you try to do that yourself, I'm sure you'll be about an inch taller, at least half an inch, which can make all the difference in terms of how much you can weigh on stage. He was able to compete, but it does bring into question the whole height and weight thing. But Tyler Mannion did come out and say from next year onwards, the first 3 weights or the next 3 shows that you are height in at, that the average of that is your height for the rest of your career, which is great. We'll put an end to this stretching out competitors and, potential cheating in terms of the heights. But when they do this, they have to really be watching their feet, because we can't have any of this sort of stuff happening, because it brings into question the integrity of the sport. So obviously it would have been a bit more of a, I suppose, story if he had won this show. And he looked fantastic. He was obviously a top 3 guy. And obviously, if he did get on stage, it's nothing against Stefan whatsoever. I mean, he's doing all he can. He's prepped for this show. I'd be doing all I can as well and trying to get my heels off and to try to be a little bit taller, just so I can make that weight if you have prepped for this contest. So, nothing against him, just maybe the procedures to get the heights done. Anyway, let's move on, because Hunter Labrada and Stuart Sutherland, we saw them guest posing together last year. They got together here once again with Jordan Hutchinson, and I can't remember the bald guy who Stu Sutherland has his hand on his head. I can't remember his name. I'm trying to remember it now. I believe there's a J in his name or something. I can't quite get it off the top of my head. They're in Destination Dallas there, which is obviously the Gasp gym. And then you can see him posing down, Jordan Hutchinson on the left, Hunter Labrada in the middle, and Stuart Sutherland, Beef Stew, who's obviously on the Bodybuilding University podcast quite a bit, looking insane on the right. He looks crazy good and in really good off-season shape as well. And it's cool to see them in different lighting, because you see the lighting of Hunter's gym, you see the lighting of Stu's gym, and you see these photos. And when Stu stands next to these other guys, he looks so impressive. And I think this year, if they nail everything to a T, Stu can have a very, very big 2024. And he can be a real story if he can, achieve the heights I think he can get to in 2024. He could be a story going into the Olympia going, is this guy a top 8 guy or something like that? So that's how good Stu Sutherland, I think, is. And Hunter Labrada, I mean, he runs into Stu when he's like weeks out from a contest or he's at his biggest or something like that. So Hunter, in the comparisons, I want to see these guys side by side on stage. I don't know if we'll see it this year unless it comes to the Olympia, because I'm guessing Hunter will probably do some of those later shows, but he's in great shape now. Potentially Hunter could be prepping up to do the Arnold Classic. I'm not too sure. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Would you like to see Hunter do the Arnold Classic? And what do you think about Stu Sutherland and his potential for 2024? And also Jordan Hutchinson, big fan of his physique. He's definitely going to be one for the future in the next couple of years. Now, moving on, talking about Sam Sulek, who's the hottest name literally in bodybuilding or fitness. So he's one of the hottest names around this whole thing, being a guy that hasn't ever competed. But you can see here, he did his first meet and greet, and he's just like a legit celebrity. It's absolutely crazy. You can see this is posted up by Mark Bell. Says Sam Sulek meet and greet is crazy. And there were thousands of people. I heard Fuad talking about it, who obviously sponsors Sam and a whole bunch of others. And it just sounds like it was absolutely crazy. Stay there for hours upon hours. And it's crazy how much Sam Sulek has grown and what a career he's built within such a short period. It really is inspirational to younger people, but also older people too, to show that you can blow up like that if you're doing the right thing. But anyway, let's get on to Samson Dowder, who is 12 weeks out of the 2024 Arnold Classic here, where he's going to be taking on a very good lineup by the sounds of it. Heard a ton of names thrown around. I'm going to do a video on that tomorrow. But Samson's looking huge. He defies logic. He does a show, he probably dials things back a bit, and he looks better. And then he ramps things up, and he looks better again. He just continues to impress me. Update after update, he just looks crazy. This sort of mass is just looking wild. I'm sure he's upped his food now, and then he's going to pull it back down for that Arnold Classic. But this is the biggest and most muscular I have ever seen Samson Dowder. I mean, yeah, there's a little bit of conditioning that's gone, but there is just some wild muscle, and he's taking advantage of that post-show rebound. So what he and Mil Sarchev are doing and what they're achieving is absolutely insane. Very, very inspiring. And, who knows who's going to be up against at the Arnold Classic. Could be guys like Hardy Chupin. I mean, we could see a Nick Walker. We could see a whole bunch of other guys. And I'll get onto one of those guys in just a moment who just posted a physique update. But I also want to highlight Samson Dowder being hooked up by Redline over there in the UK with a McLaren. It's so cool to see Samson Dowder be a car guy and have dreams of getting like a Lamborghini and all these other cars. And then he's actually able to achieve it within a few short years of just grinding away year after year and then having his break. And you can see how happy Samson is by this photo. He's like a kid in a candy store, and I love to see it, and I love to see the success story that is Samson Dowder, a future potential Mr. Olympia. Now let's get on to a man who may be competing against at the 2024 Arnold Classic in Big Ramy, who posted up this on his story just an hour ago, looking damn impressive, very full, very round. The abs look really, really good. There's no bloat there. He's holding a bit of fluid in the muscle, and he's got a decent pump. But if this is Ramy, 12 weeks out of the 2024 Arnold Classic, I'd say he's in a pretty good spot for 12 weeks out if he does want to prep for that contest. And his triceps, I mean, in this video are looking reasonably full. It looks like they're filled out based on what they were previous times on stage, like the last Olympia he did. I think he looks pretty damn good. You guys can let me know what you think in the comments below, but let me know as well, would you like to see Big Ramy in the 2024 Arnold Classic, and could he win it? Because Big Ramy, at the last Arnold Classic he did, he looked absolutely phenomenal. I was blown away with how good he looked. He didn't place obviously where we thought he could have, and he didn't get the comparisons we thought he could have got at that show. So going forward, if he does get those comparisons and looks even better than that Arnold Classic, I think it's almost undeniable that you have to compare him with the top guys. So if I was Big Ramy, and I was in that position right now, and he feels like those body parts are getting a pump, the ones he's struggling with before, like the tricep, the back, and things like that, I'd be jumping in that 2024 Arnold Classic and seeing where he is at versus the other top guys. But let me know what you think in the comments below on that. And let me know what you think about all the stories featured in this video. What do you think about the classic physique controversy? Do you think Chris Bumstead actually is sponsoring Ramon? And how do you think guys like Nathan Asha and all the other guys mentioned in this video will do in 2024? Anyway, guys, that's it for this one. My name is Xavier Wills. This is Desktop Bodybuilding. If you enjoy the content, give the video a thumbs up, smash the like button, also subscribe and click the notification bell button. That way you'll be notified of every video that goes up for myself, Xavier Wills at Desktop Bodybuilding. So for Xavier Wills, this is Desktop Bodybuilding, and we are out.